Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello everybody, I'm Markee Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to a live show. So, wasn't that exciting intro? You know, I don't get a chance to show off my creative stuff very often, and I thought, well, I'll just throw in some of those time lapses and, driving around. I'd done some weird things with video, and I thought it'd be fun to just throw them in there. So, being that this is a live show, I welcome you to call in and join me on the show here. And I prefer calls with video, but audio is okay. And just a little housekeeping. First is that the segments in this show today that are good may be broken out into best of series. I've done that on a couple of things, and some of them you guys agree with, some of them you don't. And one of the things I saw was complaints of like, oh, I saw this before. I'll list everything as being part of the best of. So if you watched this entire show, then maybe you don't need to watch any of those other videos that are the best of. But anyway, so you could end up, if you're a caller, on multiple shows. So anyway, a couple things going on. One is you guys send me questions all the time in YouTube, in Facebook, on our Markee Dragon Game Codes fan page, and then also some other places on the fan page. I just wanted to tell all of you guys about that. Alexandra reads all of those and makes sure that any good stuff gets to me. And so I do see all of those on YouTube when you guys send me messages there. I'm currently backlogged by, honestly, about 600 messages. It's really insane how many messages come in there. And so I do my best to pick out the good stuff. I do try and read them all, but not everything makes it to an episode. So, let's see. What else have we got here? The video quality on here, I want to talk about that for just a minute, because the quality on here is, I am transmitting at 1080p. YouTube will only show it at 360p. It does cause sometimes, if you have a connection that is not the fastest in the world, it will cause some hiccups in the stream or some lag. If you are having that kind of problem, I would like feedback in the comments that you were having that kind of problem. And then after about an hour after the show is done, the entire show will be available in full 1080p, and you can watch the whole thing again, or just wait for the best of stuff and forget all of the dumb callers, unless they were so dumb that it was just awesome. Which brings me to the winner of the Dumb Question Award. So I kid you not, I get a lot of messages in YouTube, like I've been telling you, and this is from Prestartationify. It's not a real word. Anyway, he wants to know about long-distance relationships. And he says, hello, would you care to answer a question about long-distance relationships through gaming? Or should I waste my time writing it? That is the entire question. Now, he didn't get a reply, because just send me your question. My goodness. So anyway, he gets the award for the kind of an example of some of the worst questions that there are. So lines are open. Call me, Markee Dragon, on Skype, and I'll be happy to answer your call. Now, let's see. I got a couple more things here. So. Let's see here. Stream is a bit laggy. Yeah, well, okay, well, you know what? I am, let me look at something else here. And so, this is still a work in progress, getting all of this stuff
for our most
here.
advanced shave ever.
You all heard that. Okay, and let's see. It's only 360p. It's transmitting it to 360p. So just making sure. I have the ability to set it up higher to like 1080p, but I would lag out every single one of you. I'm actually transmitting a 5 megabit pipeline up to YouTube. Now here's the deal. Why some of you might even have lag at 360p, even though you have a really good connection. Because the live shows go to a particular server. And so all of you across the world are watching that live show on that one server. And when the show is processed, or when you upload a video to YouTube and it goes out to everyone, it's distributed across multiple servers, and so you are connected to the one that is closest to you and works the best for you. Now, so with that said, I actually had to make a request, and I made a request to YouTube, and I had my account moved to a different server closest to my location in Tampa, Florida, because I was not even able to maintain a 2 megabit connection to my server where it was before. And so they did that for me, and now I'm able to, give it a bigger pipeline. So, okay, and let's see here. So, I got a question from Mark, and Mark is on our Facebook fan page, and so he wants to know if I'll be trying Darkfall on Holy Wars. He says it releases 12/12/12. What a fitting date. And that I stated that, he knows that I stated I didn't care for the original Darkfall, and, I will give it another try. And, here's why. One is, it's been so long ago that the first one came out that, honestly, I don't know if I remember even what my objections were to it previously. And so, anyway, it is something that I will try out again. I know it's very much like Ultima Online, and so I do want to check it out. Again, this is a live call-in show, so if you want to call in, please do. So, and I will do some Darkfall content and some gameplay and stuff. Speaking of gameplay, today we had the most amazing gameplay. I was working with Sly Jesse, Cryptic Gaming League, Wasted Kill, and a couple others. And now that I've got a call coming in, we will come back to that, and I will tell you what happened today with that. So, okay. Hello, Daniel.
Hello.
You are on the air. Do you have video, or are you just audio only?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Okay. So give me just a second here. I'm going to switch screens and grab the video here. So first caller always gets put through the ringer of having to set this up.
Yeah.
So, okay. And let's see here. Okay, so Daniel, welcome to the show. What kind of question have you got for me today?
I just had a question about piracy. It was with a local computer repair shop.
Mm-hmm.
What they're doing is they're selling Windows for below the retail cost, so under $100, it's about 60.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you thought that should be left alone just for the sake of people being able to get it for cheaper, or if you should report it to Microsoft and hopefully get them shut down for it.
Did you know that they will pay you for reporting that?
I thought they gave you a copy of Windows for it.
Oh, well, that's payment, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the BSA, and it's not Boy Scouts of America, that is the Something Software Association, and they have funds where they will credit people for turning in violators, and now I guess the answer, my short answer is yes. I think you should turn them in if you know that they're doing that. Now, it could be that now you say they're selling it for $60. Is that like Windows 8?
Windows 7.
Windows 7? That is below the cost, I believe.
I went in and seen him using a keygen on it because I told him I wouldn't leave the computer there because I knew he was doing it.
Oh, using a key generator.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, here's my thoughts on software piracy. So I had this website called Free Game Cam, and we actually broadcast. It was kind of like what we're doing right now. We actually broadcast screenshots of gameplay, and this was back in like the year 2000, before anybody could do anything like that. And we had an application that went with that, and someone took that application and then they wrote things in the border around it. They actually altered it, they hacked it, and then they used it to transmit stuff on our site, and it was advertising their site and everything. And it was kind of it wasn't the same as stealing it, it was hacking it. But that's when I realized that all of our hard work that we had put into that application was being violated or whatnot. And so I'm a big fan of actually buying your software and just being honest about it. So turn them in if you want to.
All right.
So, okay, does that answer your question?
Yep.
Okay, thanks Daniel for calling. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, so yeah, I've had several instances of piracy and porn. Let me tell you about that. So I had this computer repair shop, and we would repair computers for people all the time, and we had somebody bring in that their computer crashed or something like that, and when I don't know what we were doing, how we came across it. I think it was because his desktop wallpaper looked like the girl on it was a little bit young. And I don't remember if we looked around a little bit on his computer or what happened, but we found a whole bunch of kiddie porn on it. And so we called the police, and police came right over. They looked at it and they said, I think we need to take this computer for evidence. And actually what they asked us to do was they asked us to finish repairing it and to have him come in and pay for it, since we had done the work, and then they were undercover in our store, and when he came in and paid for it and everything, and then on his way out, they followed him out and they grabbed him up. And we had to testify in court about what condition we found the computer in and what was there and everything. And so that was... that was doing the right thing and everything. So, I don't know. I don't know how I got on the subject of porn. Okay, on to the next subject. So, again, the lines are free. Go ahead and call in. And so, getting back to our day of gaming. It started out just Sly Jesse and I, and we were getting ready to just play some War Z together and do some recording and everything. And oh, gosh, we got another caller. It's going to take forever to get to this story, huh? Okay, let's see here. It's the Dragon's Gamer again. Let's see what he's got in mind. Hey there, Mr. Dragon's Gamer. How are you today?
I'm doing good today, Marcus.
So, now you were on the show once before, weren't you?
Yes, I was actually.
And let's see, remind me what we talked about last time.
Last time we talked about if Ultima Online could be recreated in the industry again, and if gaming, like the MMO industry, would be ready for it.
Okay, yeah. So, what is on your mind today?
So today I have something on my mind completely different. I was looking at the back of my Dishonored box, which I got recently, and it looks like on the back there's some kind of internet verification code I need to put in, probably to prevent the sales of used copies. I was wondering what your opinion was on selling used single-player games, and if these online codes should be allowed. Like, should companies do this?
Like, should they block you from reselling it if
Yeah.
you wanted to? Well, here's the deal. I mean, I'll answer this from the business perspective. And from the business perspective is that when a copy of a game that, let's say my company made the game, we worked really hard to make it, and we're selling the copy out there. When someone takes and resells it, it's then a missed opportunity for us to sell another copy of the game. Now, and it's missed revenue. But if you look at it in the case of like a book, that I go out and I buy this book, Lord of the Rings or whatever, and then I've read it and I'm done with it, and then I sell it back to a bookstore, and then they resell it again to somebody else and everything. It's actually the same thing. It's just that a book can't be keyed like that to one person, and so it is a new way of doing things. And do I feel right about it? You know, I can see both sides, and I can totally say that on my side, I want to be able to buy a used copy of software if I want to, and I want to be able to sell my old software if I want to. And some games are trying to embrace that, but in a game like that, I don't. I think that they're, probably if you read the fine print on that, and I've not played that game, but probably if you read the fine print on that, it'll probably say something like that is your license key, and that creates your account, your online account, and such. And accounts, in an MMO, you can resell your software, but you wouldn't necessarily sell your account with that. So, how do you feel about it?
Well, I feel that I actually feel like I'm kind of mixed on the subject, because on one point the developers won't be making as much money off of their work, and I can understand why they want people to buy new. But on the other hand, it's kind of like banning sales on used cars and used books as well. I mean, those are things that have been used by people already, and I think that if you've given the company the $60 that it took to make the game already, then they have the money, and they shouldn't be concerned past there.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. I think both answers are right, actually. And I can't imagine licensing a car to me and then not being able to resell it, or whatnot. I mean, it's just like, well, all you can do is just throw that car away once you're done. I couldn't imagine doing that. So, great question. And I have one more question for you. What if I told you had a booger up your nose?
I would probably blow my nose with that.
Your camera view is awesome. We can all see your brain up there. So,
I would just like to say one more thing.
Oh, sure,
Would it be
sure.
would it be all right if I gave my YouTube channel a shout out? And don't
Sure.
worry, you won't be seeing up my nose that much on there. I don't do webcam videos that much on my YouTube channel.
Sure.
So, I have a YouTube channel. It's The Dragon's Gamer. You guys can go check that out if you would like. I do a lot of gameplay footage on that. And that's basically my channel. I'm just a gaming channel.
Okay, cool. Thank you for calling in, and take care.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just had to mess with him a little bit. I'm sure that he's now going and checking his nose. So, oh, goodness. Yes, so lines are open again. You can call in. Looks like we got Christopher calling in. Hello, Christopher. You're on the air. Hello? Oh. And you've got video. Great. Let me turn the video on here. But I'm not hearing you yet. At all. Uh-oh, you're muted. Speaking of looking up the other guy's nose, I noticed that thing that you're wearing on your finger there, and you could certainly harm yourself if you were to pick your nose with that. No, you don't need to do that on camera. Okay. Oh, and we lost him. So. Oh, goodness. Yes, well, maybe he'll fix that, and he'll try calling again. So, anyway, in War Z today, I decided that I have a whole bunch of people that have said they wanted to play War Z together with me and stuff, and so I sent out a message to everybody. And next thing we know, we have 6 of us all together. And we're all on the same server, and I'm thinking, 6 of us all together, we're invincible. Oh my God, and I got this on video, so you're gonna see it here in a few days. We had the most incredible firefight in a grocery store, and some of the guys were saying that the guy was hacked, that he was hacking, and that's how he was able to shoot him. But we had such an incredible firefight in the store. I was last man standing. It was awesome, and I can't wait for that video to come up because that was a lot of fun. And in fact, I think that we should, in the future, do parties like that because having that many people all at once in there, I think it worked out really, really well, and it was an incredible amount of fun. And I was sweating bullets by the end of that, no pun intended. I mean, we were shooting a lot of bullets, but... Okay, so... Hello, Steve, you're on the air.
Hey there.
Your microphone is having some issues there.
Is it? Sorry about that. It's I have to use my headphones right now.
Yeah, it's pretty well overdriven, is what it sounds like.
Ah.
So, do you have video, or are you just audio only?
Just audio.
Okay. So, Steve, what's on your mind?
I was wondering what's your opinion on the RuneScape evolution of combat, and do you think that they will recover their player base?
Well, I don't have much opinion at this point, and the reason is because I don't know anything about it. I know what RuneScape is and stuff, but as far as like the evolution of combat and stuff, I have not encountered that. But go ahead and tell me about it.
Basically, they've kind of created RuneScape into World of Warcraft, where you have to use the numbers to use skills and whatnot.
The numbers, like they added hotkeys?
Yes.
Okay, and you don't like that? Is that what you're...
No.
And can you not still click on them?
Yes, you can, but
So what's the problem with them adding functionality to it? Why does it make it a lesser play experience for you?
well, they've actually changed a lot more than that. They basically changed the entire game itself.
Well, now, have you played any other games long term?
Yes. I played World of Warcraft before. I play League of Legends actively. I played just Conquer, MapleStory.
Okay, and so those games change over time.
Yeah, but not as dramatic as what RuneScape has become.
And so, RuneScape, do you think that they're driving people away now, that they've changed it so much?
Yeah.
And what if you were running the show? If you're running Jagex and we're running the show there for RuneScape, what is it that you would do differently?
Well, for one, you have to listen to the players and see what they want.
I 100% agree on that.
What?
And I know they don't.
Most people didn't want it, and I can tell you that.
Huh. Did you ever hear about the story of Auto Assault and why it failed so badly?
I have not.
And well, Auto Assault was an MMO. It was a MMO where your character was a car, kind of like World of Tanks. Your character is a tank.
Yeah.
And there was combat, and there was leveling up, and you would drive your car around, and you go on different missions and everything. And they made this game, but they didn't like playing it themselves. They were just going through the motions. Okay, we got to make this game. We got to put this in this game. We got to put this in it, this in it, this in it. And they were just going through the motions of that. And but yet they weren't playing it themselves, and they didn't particularly care for it. And that's part of why they weren't playing it, because they didn't care for it. And they had this disconnect with what players would need and want because of this. And so, the game programmers, they are players as well. That's for the majority of them, their inspiration behind getting into the industry. And the fact, though, is that if they didn't like playing the game themselves, then why would players
Want to play it?
Right. And so I wonder if the programmers for Jagex, whether or not they play RuneScape themselves. Because if stuff's being put in that is really hated and not wanted by them, it really begs the question as to whether or not they even play the game themselves.
Yeah.
So, I keep hearing horror story after horror story about how Jagex is so horrible with everything.
I think I've heard that they sold like half their company to somewhere in the States.
An investor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
do you think that it's the corporate people now who obviously probably don't play the game?
Yeah.
Are now driving what they think is needed and wanted?
Yeah, but I think ever since that happened, the game has been going downhill.
I've heard that many times. And so, okay, let's just pretend here you are the new CEO of Jagex, and you've come in to fix RuneScape. What is the first 3 things you will do?
Well, for one, I'd probably ask the players, what do you think about it? If, seeing as the evolution of combat is just hated and they've lost so many players, and I would just ask for their input and see what would they like. And then
So what would that lead to? So if you ask the players, then I imagine step number 2 would be to start to implement some of the things that the players need and want. And then if you had a wish for something that you've really wanted to see added to RuneScape that you think would really improve the game, what would that be?
Well, one of the things I miss myself, because I used to play RuneScape for years, and the funnest thing I've ever done is clanning, wars, and all that. If they could improve, players play.
Episode without mentioning Ultima Online, I have failed. So, okay. Back to, let's see, where were we? Oh my god, I have lost my place. I know we finished the War Z story, and I so much look forward to doing more of that kind of stuff. Now that we're talking about customer service, let me just put out a theme here. If you call and tell me about your customer service horror story with a video game company, I'll start by telling you mine. So, recently, I was playing War Z. Yes, guys, War Z. And I'm sorry, but I am going to slam the hell out of you here. So all of you that think that I'm a War Z fanboy, this proves that I'm not. And because otherwise, I wouldn't be telling you all of this. So here is oh my. So let me take this back just another step before I tell you my story about my customer service experience with them. And it's from James, who is Amnesiac in Link Realms. And he says that how is giving a canned response that doesn't address the issue a customer has, requiring them to submit another request, more efficient than taking the extra time to read it and respond correctly the first time? I have this issue with nearly every company, and I don't understand how it can possibly be better to have half of your tickets be the same issue, and the second time the CSR has failed to actually read the ticket and just guessed at what it was about. Oh my God. You are so on target, James. Let me tell you about my experience in War Z. So, I submitted a ticket. They did something to their forums. I don't know whether they got hacked or whether they got, let me take that back. I don't want to indicate that they got hacked, but something happened in their forums, and their forums were down for a day. It may have just been a regular upgrade or something. I don't know what it was. But their forums were down, and previous to the forums being down, I had been an active participant in the forums, and instead of making a forums account, I decided to do something that I don't do very often, which is to use the Facebook login button. And so I used that to access the forums. And when I used that, it just logged me in, made my account. And I'm like, great, that's perfect. So it worked out really good. The only thing that was annoying was it logged me out after about 10 minutes, which I could be reading a page and then I'd have to log in again to give a reply. And that was just kind of insane, that short logout period. But what I did was, after their forum revision, fix, work, whatever it was that they did, the Facebook Connect button no longer worked. And I would click it, and it would open up a page, and it would say, I'm sorry, there's been an error. And that would be it. And so I could not get logged in. So let me read to you what I wrote to them in a support ticket. And this was on November 7th. That's important. So it says, since the outage you had in the forums a couple of days ago, the login with Facebook button no longer works. Since that was my only joined account, I no longer know how to log into the forums because I wanted to keep my same name and everything. I knew I could just make another account, but I wanted to keep my name. I tried on more than one computer, both are running Chrome. And so what I told them is basically, I couldn't get logged into the forums anymore. I didn't want to create a new account because that would be a new person in the forums. My account was already linked to my legendary pack that I purchased, and so I needed this fixed. So on November 19th, 12 days later, yes, 12 days later, Robeck, the War Z Survivor Support, wrote to me, I am sorry, and this is exact quote. I'm reading this word for word, 100%. He starts with, I am sorry for the inconvenience. Now let me see if I can help you resolve this for you. If you are still experiencing this issue, if you want to access the forums, try visiting this site. And he gives me a link to the frickin' forums. That was the whole thing. I just thought to myself, how dumb is that? You know? It really fires me up, actually, because, customer support is something that we are all affect to, and that we know when we get real shitty customer support, and this is shitty customer support. And so, we, at Markee Dragon, where we do sales and we obviously support customers, you will never, ever get something like that. And when I'm talking to other game companies and everything, I point out examples like this, and I'm like, God, I hope you guys don't suck when it comes to customer support. But, some of them do. And so I hope that, I hope WarZ is listening. And you guys can actually take that seriously. I mean, I know that you got my money, and that I bought the game, and that I'm kind of locked in now. But I expect you to make a little less profit for a little bit higher customer service experience than that. Not only should it have been answered probably within 24 hours at the outside, but the person who was doing this, Robeck, should have read what I wrote. I mean, I don't think that I wrote that so cryptically that he couldn't understand, or she couldn't understand, that my issue was that I couldn't get logged into the forums through the Facebook Connect button any longer. And and then sending me to the forums if I still had experiencing problems so that I can get help? That's bullshit. Total bullshit. So, where's he? Get your shit straight. Okay. So, on to the next thing. So, if you'd like to call in, lines are open. You can. And, okay, so I have, Christopher is calling in again. Let's see what he has to say this time. So, okay, Christopher.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, Christopher, I can hear you just fine. So,
Awesome.
I have to ask, first thing, what is that on your finger?
It is the Iron Reaver Claw. I bought it off of Amazon for $4. It is made by Master Cutlery.
Huh. And what do you do with something like that?
Not use the bathroom with it for first.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to laugh so loud. Yeah.
It's just pretty.
That's cool. So is it a real weapon? I mean, is it sharp? Is it metal?
Yeah, it's metal. It's real. And this is a blade. It's not sharp at all. I mean, look at this.
Yeah, so
you can sharpen it, but
it's kind of a fantasy weapon. It's something that I would see in StarCraft. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Christopher, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
My name is Chris Firemender, or Firemender in pretty much every game I play. I have a YouTube channel where I occasionally post stuff if I'm not busy. Currently, right now, I'm making a Skyrim mod, but I don't know what to do with it since I was banned off the mod Nexus. And it wasn't really even my fault.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go into discussion with that.
Okay. Okay. And so, what is your question today?
Halo 2 and other Microsoft games that have a limited serial activation.
Like you can only activate it so many times, or
Yeah, and like Halo 2, take for instance, you can only redeem the serial 5 times, like re-download the game and stuff 5 times. It's because of this and the complete drop support that this game is completely dead. The multiplayer was amazing. I had it for a little time, but then the serial ran out and cannot get a new serial.
And what has kept you from advancing to like the latest Halo and stuff?
Just don't like Xbox that much. I'm a hardcore PC gamer. I own a Razer keyboard, Razer mouse, Razer everything.
Oh, and how do you type with that thing on your hand?
I don't. I just take it off.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, okay, now I actually recently just encountered this. but with a Microsoft product, in fact. But it was not quite the same issue. It was that I've told you guys many times, I've mentioned it many times about how I was trying to do these live shows and stuff, and my computer kept crashing and all this problem, and I ended up reinstalling my OS a couple of times, and then I got my new computer built, and I went to put my OS on there again, and it said, "I'm sorry, you have no further activations." And I was like, crap. I don't want to spend another $100 on OS and everything, especially when Windows 8 was just about to come out and stuff.
Not really a fan of Windows 8.
Yeah, I have it here. Actually, I'm not gonna show it on camera. I did that once before and had to edit the video because I actually accidentally showed the serial on it.
Whoops.
Yeah. Good thing it wasn't a live show. So I ended up having to go through and call support to get another additional activation. Now, do they offer that for Halo?
No, Halo 1 and Halo 2 for PC they've completely dropped it. You can't call the support about it. And that's the reason why certain games are dying, is because of the serial issue. And it's just crap. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, letting a good game go to waste. And then with the issue of people running out and then all the additional calls asking for, new serials. That's my brother. Just ignore him. But just, I think it's inefficient managing the serials this way, because people are going to be calling in left and right, asking for new serials. And then when support is dropped, you got people 10 years later trying to get serials, trying to revive the game and everything, and it's just really sloppy. And then rebuying the serials because you've used your serial up for game whatever, it's just really horrible and inefficient.
Yeah, it's not very customer friendly. Yeah, Microsoft thinks like big business, unfortunately. I mean, it's probably because they are big business, but...
Well, I have a buddy at Microsoft.
Yeah, I know several people there as well. In fact, my brother worked there for quite a while. But I think that this is actually part of a bigger issue. And the bigger issue is the fact that what do we do with all of these games that, because the serials, you have to go and do an authentication with that. What happens when those authentication servers go away?
The game or program dies completely. The game that took X years to create is just dead.
And that's not really fair to...
I know.
To all of us. I wonder what could be done by software publishers so that they can have this protection that they so desperately want, obviously, in the beginning. But maybe after 5 years, should it just say, oh, you know what, we're at this date, it no longer requires a serial, or that they keep some sort of legacy activation stuff and they just let everyone activate no matter what their serial is.
Or sell the master keygen to a smaller company to keep the game alive or something like that, and turn a small profit to the Microsoft or whatever.
Yeah, but see, the profit model in that would be that they would have to charge you a couple of bucks at least in order to redo that to cover the cost of operations.
Yeah.
And Microsoft cuts these things off because it's no longer making money for them. And which I understand that in business, but it screws the customer, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's awful.
So, okay.
I have an original copy of Halo 1 sitting over there, and I still play it. The multiplayer is still alive. These games, for the people who still have the serials and everything's installed in their computer, those multiplayers are still alive and everything, and it's just awesome. But when you run out of the serial, the game, people just start dropping like flies because of them having to reinstall it and everything. And I have to go.
Okay, well, take care, Christopher.
All right.
Thank you for your calling.
Okay.
Okay, so, well, you know what? I think that this problem right here is a good candidate for solutions. I do know a lot of video game developers, and I do know that this is a problem that a lot of players talk about, and talk about being worried about it, and talk about, the fact that this is something that's worried about, and it's something they're worrying about because it's happening. And so if you've got ideas on how we can address this some way that we could really get a fix for this, something that would allow the game companies to have their profit, and when they get to the end of life on a game, so that support for it doesn't drop totally. That's one thing that I've actually, so in the comments, give your ideas, do a video thing, or send them to me in YouTube, and or on Skype, and maybe we'll talk about it on camera, especially if your idea is good and I think it'll work. Maybe we could even no-brainer your idea if it's really good, and prove that it would work or not work. So that, in a similar vein to this, is the fact that one of the games that I've always loved is Ultima Online. And, when EA ceases operations of the game, which they will, I imagine, someday, there's all those free shards out there, free servers, and which they built their own server side, and then they even built their own client and everything, and it's all modeled after the game, and it's just like the game, the same rule sets and everything. And, pretty amazing job that they've done on it. And that's going to help the game live forever. So that is a kind of solution that that is really great. Maybe you allow a fan site or company to create a solution to authorize those keys. You give them whatever the back-end software stuff is, and then they do it on their own, and then they can actually, just tell everybody, well, just edit this file on your computer and have it redirect here, and we will authorize you. And, maybe that's the way it is. And maybe in your contract up at the beginning, say, support for this only lasts for 5 years or whatever, and make that very clear up front so that there's not any missed expectations on that. So, very good idea. Okay. Next caller here. Hello, Jake. You're on the air. Hello, Jake. Are you there? I don't hear a single thing from you. Are you muted?
Oh, sorry. I was muted.
There we go. There we go. Jake, is it just audio or do you have video?
There you go.
Okay. All right.
It'll be a bit laggy.
Yeah, that's okay. Not all of us have internet connections like I do.
It's because it's my mobile phone. I've put an IP server on there.
Oh,
using it as a webcam.
So sweet. So tell us about that. How did you do that?
Well, for Android, there's a program called IPCam.
Uh-huh.
And basically, you can do it wireless if you want. So you could walk around with it and use the microphone. And it'll go straight to your computer. And you can plug it in USB. And that'll make it just a bit faster.
Wow, that is really sweet. I can imagine, I can hook up an IP camera to my live show, and so we could go out back and visit the alligators while we're doing the live show, huh? All I need is a wireless headset, so I can hear everybody back. So, Jake, what is on your mind today?
Greedmonger and
oh yeah.
And are you going to start a guild?
You know what? Okay, so here's my quandary on that. One, I am going to be in Greedmonger. I'm going to give this a shot, and I have really high hopes for it. And if any of you have not heard about Greedmonger, you need to go check it out. Greedmonger.com. They have a Kickstarter where right now you can buy land. It's a one-time purchase, and it's being built out to be very much like Ultima Online. I have 3 interviews with Jason Appleton on that. So that's just the kind of the backstory for those of you who have not heard of Greedmonger yet. As you can tell, I'm very excited about it. And so, as far as a guild in it, I'm not opposed to that, and I wish that I had the money to buy a castle, but I don't. And because I would love to own a castle, and then we all just, all of us from, Markee Dragon or wherever that want to play together, we're all centrally located around that castle. I think that would be totally awesome. But the fact is that I know that I do not have the time to run a guild. And I wouldn't be good at it. And I know this because of my failed attempt in Guild Wars 2. We started a guild in there, and it all fell apart because I really didn't have the time to commit to it. So it would take a lot of help from someone like you, Jake, or other players that don't mind doing, I guess, what I'd call the administrative part of the guild and everything. So, yeah, what is your idea for that?
For a guild, well, I've been a guild leader before, but I've given it up to someone else just because I had a job at the time and I just didn't have the time for it.
Yeah,
and
I hear you.
Demoted myself to officer. Yeah.
I would not be opposed to giving a blessing to a guild that was named after us or something like that, and all of us in common work together. Or it can be called whatever. It doesn't have to be called nothing. And I would be happy to be a part of this guild of fans of the show, fans of the game, players of the game, and everything. I think that would be pretty cool, and I'd be totally on board for that. So. Somebody who has a lot of experience with that can prove that they could run that well can get my blessing on that. So yeah. So Jake, tell me about what is that game console that's on your shelf back there? That white.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's just a PlayStation.
Oh, it's an old PlayStation. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a screen attached onto it, folded up.
Oh yeah. Huh. Cool. So it makes it portable. And I can see that you've done some World of Warcraft.
Yep.
And
Guild Wars 2 as well.
Yeah. And is that game up there a gun?
Yeah. That was an awful game.
It looks like an awful box. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Your office there is looking a bit like mine.
Not as many games, but.
Yeah. And I think that though, when it gets really hot, that you can open up that garage door.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to expose my computer to the street though. So.
Yeah.
I've actually unplugged it to make sure no one can open it. With
accidentally do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, next you come home, your garage door's open and it's cleaned out.
Yeah, that's what I want to avoid.
Yeah.
Especially since I'm going to start a company from in here, so I don't want all my stock stolen.
Right. So, Jake, if we got a guild going, would you be a member of it?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I don't think my guild members from other games would be interested in Greedmonger. I've talked to them about it. They don't seem too interested, so I have to find another guild for Greedmonger.
Let's talk about your impressions of Greedmonger. Can I ask you a couple questions about it?
Sure.
Okay. First question: what do you think of the name for the game?
I don't like it, if I was to be honest. I think they should change it.
Yeah, do you think we should start a petition for them to change it?
It's actually a forum post. They had another name, but the other name wasn't too good either. I didn't like the other one. So I didn't reply to the post.
Oh goodness. Maybe we should just all call it GM. You know,
Yeah.
and then everybody will think it's Game Master.
Yeah. Guildmaster.
Guildmaster, yeah. And so now, what about the game attracts you?
Crafting and non-instant housing. Ever since I heard about Ultima, I thought, man, that would be awesome to have in an MMO. That would give you a true sense of community. And I spent ages in the Elder Scrolls games just decorating my house and putting stuff in there, stacks of eggs to the roof and stuff like that. I'd love to be able to do that in an MMO.
Yeah, I can tell you that in Ultima Online we had these communities, and so I had a house in one area, and I knew all my neighbors and stuff. I had met all of them. You would see them. You'd be in your house working on something, and you would see them log in their house, and you'd see them working on something, and you'd go and stand at their door. You couldn't knock on their door, but you'd go stand at their door, and they'd come out and talk to you and everything. And so you'd get to know everybody and stuff. And then I had a shop and everything, and that was at another location. It was at a crossroads, and we did all kinds of transactions there, and people from all over the place came, and we would just sit there and bullshit for hours. And it was all text above your head. There was no voice or anything. And I think that their idea, though, of text above the head is really good. In a sense of where they talk about not doing global chat, but what I really think it should be is that it should be text or audio. All of us can hear in the game, and so the other people within your proximity that you say, okay, within within visual range, that anyone who's within visual range that says something, that I can automatically hear it. Or maybe you can extend that out a little bit further so that, one whole screen beyond your visual range, if someone is talking out there, maybe you hear a little bit of mumbling. Maybe it's quieter. And so you can hear that somebody's talking, but you can't quite understand what they're saying. But you could know which direction it's coming from, and you could walk over there and talk to them.
Yeah, I agree. And I think EverQuest 2 did something similar to that, except for it alters your voice according to which race your character is. I haven't played EverQuest 2 recently, so I don't really know how that works.
I haven't either, but I can tell you that there's this company called Vivox, and they make the voice software for games like World of Tanks and everything, and it works really well. And they do have this voice changing stuff, and it's I actually have a copy of the application that does that, and I've thought about that, about doing an episode where I sound like an orc or whatever, or they have all kinds of things, including fairies, but I haven't wanted to try being a fairy. That was just too beyond my scope of reality. Let's see, so crafting, the non-instance housing, and what about the graphics? The graphics are not like World of Warcraft that are, top-notch and everything. They appear to be a little bit dated, in my opinion. Does that matter to you?
I think as far as graphics come, graphics are not as important as long as the art is good. You have to do what you can with the engine, but have good art. I mean, you look at Oblivion, you look at the trees. The trees look good, but the graphics on the trees suck. People thought they were good, but they weren't. They were just a trunk, and then there were sprites. If you move around them, you could see the sprites rotating. I mean, the graphics on those trees sucked, but they looked good because they had good artists on it.
Yeah. So, okay, well, you know what? I think that that it's going to be a great game and that has a lot of potential, and that we, I think, are going to have a wonderful time in the game, and I hope that it measures up to everything that they're talking about. So if it does, then I have a long future ahead of me in that game. Now, one last question. So have you committed anything on the Kickstarter fund?
$25.
Okay.
I'd like to do more, but I'm starting a company, so...
Right. And does $25, does that get you one plot of land?
Yes.
That's all you need to get started, isn't it?
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm interested to know what sort of people have, like, $3,500 laying around and think, oh, I'm just going to make $3,500 pledge. $3,500's nothing.
You know, I should get Sly Jesse on the line here, because he told me that he did $300 for it, and I'm like going, man, I'd love to do that, because it's like 16 plots of land or something like that. But I don't have an extra $300 to throw at something like that. You know, and you know, $3,000. Oh my God. I would love to do that, and I think that those people who are speculating and buying that much land, that if this game really gets popular, they can sell off part of that, and they will more than make back their money and still have land left over. But I don't have that kind of money to take a chance on it. So, yeah. Anyway, Jake, thank you very much for your call. I've enjoyed talking with you about Greedmonger, and I figure that we're going to have some sort of group at least with Greedmonger, and I will, if I figure that out, I'll do a video on that. The game, I think, is not due to release until April, and so
I think that's just the beta.
Oh, that's just the beta. Huh. Well,
I think so. Or
yeah.
the alpha or something.
Yeah, well, when it gets closer, we'll figure it out. Whenever they're starting to do land assignments, then that is probably the time when we'll want to figure all that out, so that if we're going to work together as a group, that our homes are near each other.
Yeah.
And so...
We need to strategize the best place where we could make the most money, like...
Yeah, you know, and what? And I think that every single person who's playing the game is thinking the same thing. Somebody has to lose. I think they're going to have to do some sort of lottery for placement in order to make it fair. There'll be some plots of land that will only fit in certain areas, like the really big plots will only fit in certain areas, and so those are going to need to go in those kind of areas, and they probably may have infrastructure of roads going through already. But that is something that's important to me. I'd love to be at a crossroads, or at least on a road. I don't want to be out in the middle of the forest with my little shop and nobody knows where I'm at, or you know, on an island where there's only 2 other houses or something like that. That's not going to work very well if I'm going to be doing a shop. So
I reckon between the PvP zone and another zone on either side, because then there'll be people trying to escape, go to the shop to get something, and back into the PvP zone.
Or maybe you should just be right inside the PvP zone. You know, because the Reds won't have to leave the PvP zone then. So, and you can sell to them at a higher price because, you know, well, anyway, that's a whole nother episode. Okay, Jake, thanks for the call. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in Greedmonger.
Forward to seeing you, Marcus.
Okay, take care.
Alrighty.
Okay, well, that was fun. I can't wait to get into that game. I think that's going to be just great. Greedmonger.com. So, yeah, going to be awesome. I want to see you there. And let's go into another call here. Hello, Houston. You're on the air.
Hey, Marcus. How are you?
Pretty good. You're either very close to your mic or you've turned it incredibly high on the game.
Let's see here.
I'm
so sorry.
That sounds a little bit better. Do you have video or are you just audio only?
Just audio only. I don't have a webcam, unfortunately.
Okay. So, Houston, have you been on the show before?
I've not.
Not.
I've
okay.
not.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Well-
Where are you from?
I'm 27, and I'm actually from Tampa as well, and I'll be at the
Okay.
meetup on Sunday.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I can make reservations for at least 2 people.
Well, I'll be there with James Leaving Good.
Oh, okay.
Leaving Good or whatever.
Okay.
I'm,
That's 3.
yeah. No, we'll definitely be there. Looking forward to it. Actually, it's a cool place. It's a very cool place to gather and talk and whatnot. So,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
looking
So
forward to it.
I've been using MarkeeDragon.com for a long time back in the heyday. Well, I don't know if it's heyday, but back when Trust 2 was around, and I was using Trust 2, and I was using Shattered Crystal, and I was trading WoW accounts and doing all sorts of goofy stuff on there.
Yeah.
And then I just drifted away from that, and then I started following you on YouTube and watching videos, and that's all. And this is my first time calling in on a live show. James got me to call in, actually.
Oh, yeah. Well, you can thank James for that, huh?
yeah, exactly.
So,
But I was calling in to talk with you a little bit more about botting. I know you touched on it a couple times in some of your videos. I want to know what the kind of current state of botting is like. I know MMO Glider's been down for a long time, and I know a couple of them come and go. I was a heavy user of Mercury's MMO Glider and Pyrox for a while. I lost a lot of accounts, a lot of prized accounts, using that stuff. But I'm not sure what it's like for other MMOs and other games in general, Diablo or what have you. So I wanted to know your thoughts on that and kind of where it's going, if companies like Blizzard and Tryon are just totally taking them down, if there's any life left.
Well, I can tell you that I have some very recent experience with a bot. And I'll preface this all by saying that I'm not advocating the use of bots at all. I have a lot of experience with them. I used them in the past, and I decided that overall they're detrimental to the game, and that it may make a better play experience for the person using the bot, but for those around it, it is degraded. And for that reason, I do not advocate the use of bots unless they are sanctioned, which there is one game out there that I know that does sanction them, and they charge you a monthly fee, which goes to the game publisher.
That's not bad. That's not. What game is that?
I don't even remember the name of it, but it was one that I did. I looked at, and they wanted me to do a review on it, and I just decided that it wasn't quite the type. It was like a Facebook type game, and you could do automation of like cooking your stuff and putting your recipes together, and then you would tell it, okay, it's like you've played Minecraft, right?
Yes.
And so it's kind of automated in there where you can stack your oven full of the ingredients that you need, your fuel source, and then your food to cook it, and it'll sit there working on it. And that was kind of the way was in this, except this bot you could buy, you could pay 25 cents a day, and it would go out and harvest your crops for you. And or you could pay 50 cents a day, and it would not only harvest your crops, but it would bring all of your crops back, and it would mill them, and it would turn it into flour, and then you could bake cakes or whatever. And and an additional 25 cents you could then put them on your vendor automatically. And so they charged for all these little different bits of automation. And it was a really interesting concept, free-to-play game, and it that was the only way that they made their money. So you could, if you were willing to do all the work yourself, then it didn't cost you a dime, and so it was quite interesting. Now, recently I encountered what they call an aim bot, and I've heard of it in World of Tanks. I've never tried one. I've heard of it, and in War Z, there is a company out there that's charging $11 a month to give you better aim. Well, the sad thing is that they're getting it, and so I do know that there's the game publishers don't want this, and they will ban you, and it is a violation of the terms of service for every game but that one that I know of. And would you believe that it's even a violation of service for eBay to use a bot on eBay and stuff?
Is that the same kind of like bots that are used on like Steam gifts and different kind of websites? I'm not sure if you've heard of Steam gifts, but
I've not.
People go on. You get points for every kind of time someone. It's basically a place to give out free games on Steam, and it's legitimate. But I've heard rumors of people using bots to you accrue a certain amount of points for however many submissions have gone on, and the maximum you can accrue is 300. So, points are valued at, games are valued at different levels of points. Like Skyrim might be 60 points, whereas, Portal might be 20 or 15 points. Mm-hmm. And so I've heard of people using bots, I guess like how you referenced eBay, to go on there and just milk for everything they have, and kind of takes away from the people that are going on and picking out what they want.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, on eBay, they want a piece of it actually. If you're gonna, to like shoot the bid and everything, and so they want you to hook in directly into their API, into the pipeline, instead of just screen scraping with an application. And it's a bannable offense for some of those applications, which they deem as harmful to the community. So. I do have quite a bit of experience with bots, and
sure.
And in fact, I even got sued by Blizzard, or I got deposed by Blizzard. Not sued, I got deposed, and which basically means I got brought up in front of lawyers who they subpoenaed me to answer questions for them truthfully, and then they subpoenaed a whole bunch of documents, and we had. Gosh, that case is all done and gone now, so I can probably say, what all we had, but I had 30,000 receipts we had to turn over. If I remember the number correctly, I think it was around 30,000, and that glider sold amazingly well.
Oh, yeah.
And I was right in there in the very beginning of it. I think I was the one who gave them their first press and everything. And... yeah, so we had to produce every one of those receipts, and for confidentiality, we then had to redact everyone's name, address, phone number, and IP off of every receipt, which left just how many of the product they bought and when they bought it and what price they paid. And so the receipts were really useless, but they wanted them anyway. And redaction cost me a lot of money. I spent $20,000 for really a 2-hour session in being deposed.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it's very costly if you're involved with it on the business end, whatnot. And I think that Mercury spent nearly $1 million in legal fees trying to protect himself. Defend himself.
And it seems like that was just to defend himself, not to defend MDY or anything, right? Or to defend that too.
He was one and the same. So
okay.
In the type of company that he was the company.
Okay, makes sense.
And that's just from a tax point of view.
Sure. I'm with you. It's. I used MMO Glider, WoW Glider for just simple enjoyment. First time was one of the huge big band waves back when it was vanilla, and then again a couple times after that. But another time was just archaeology. I was just using it to build up my archaeology and get all the fun stuff. And I got caught, and that's the only thing I used it for. I didn't use it to to make money off of it. Just personal reasons. But broke the TOS and all that, and I guess I deserved it. But anyway. Yeah.
Well, I used a bot first when I started getting bored of World of Warcraft.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that actually added another 1.5 years of life to the game for me. And in fact, I went from one account to about 20 accounts. So...
I think that's what kept a lot of people playing. Mm-hmm. After I got banned, I stopped playing. Mm-hmm. So, anyway.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. Okay. Well, Houston, I look forward to meeting you on Sunday.
Definitely.
And so, take care.
All right. Thanks so much for the call.
those of you who are wondering about what we're doing, meeting up on Sunday, if you're watching the live show, you can look for my episode or my video that is Tampa Meetup, and we are going to meet up at a local Brewmeister. I'm not sure what it's called. It's a German name, and we're going to meet up this Sunday and probably have a few beers and just talk and meet each other and have a good time. So, okay. Uh-oh. It's Jesse calling. Let me see what Jesse would like. Hello, Jesse. You are on the air.
Oh. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Is it really you, Markee Dragon? Oh my god! Oh.
Are you like a starstruck fan?
I am. I've been following you since the beginning.
Oh my God! The only thing though is that you haven't shown me your true inner fan. I do not hear you screaming like a little girl. What? It isn't
Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't believe it's you! I can't believe it! I'm gonna call up on my friends.
That sounds like really bad sex. Okay, so Jesse, did you hear your name mentioned earlier or something? Were your ears burning?
I did hear. I can't remember what for though.
Yes, Warzy and Greedmonger. And
yes, yep, I remember. Yep.
Now, did you hear? It's really time to get cooking.
I think it is Mr. White.
Yes. Well,
we need to get a batch out soon.
That blue meth.
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone needs some.
Yeah. Well, we'll get right on that. Have you got all the ingredients?
No, I need to get some more cold flu tablets.
Yes,
I think they're called.
Sudafed. Okay, so that was in reference to we've been getting some feedback from the few episodes that we did about me being Mr. White and what's the other character's name? Is his name Jesse?
It is. It's Jesse.
See how the shoe fits? And this is what's the name of that show? I'm all of a sudden blanking.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. What a horrible show. It's so bad that I've watched every episode. So, Jesse, what's on your mind?
Well, I'm just wondering what you really think about how the developers choose how they want their game to go. So you've talked about how RuneScape they're implementing their new combat system and how in Greedmonger they picked the name Greedmonger and they're probably sticking to it. I'm just wondering what you think, should the developers really get to say, even though a lot of the users are disagreeing with it?
Well, if you build a company, and let's say it's a computer store, and let's say you own this computer store, and do you have the right to tell certain customers that they cannot come through your door and do business with you?
Of course you do.
Okay.
But it's bad practice.
It is bad practice, but you do have the right. And do you have the right to make bad decisions in that regard? And do dumb things that harm your customers?
No.
No.
Of course you do.
So
you do.
And so Greedmonger has the right to name their game Greedmonger, whether we think it fits or not. And I really would like to encourage them to change the name.
Oh, I would too. I can actually hardly even say it properly. I'm pretty sure it's because of my accent. That there's always an L that gets in there. It's like Greedmonger.
You Aussies always have this problem. I'm just giving you crap. So I'm sure us Americans say all kinds of things incorrectly. So, y'all. And so I do hope, like in the case of Greedmonger and the name of it, I know that now that they've got this name out, that that maybe they're kind of stuck with it in a way, but at the same time, I think that there is something. Here's the problem with Greedmonger. Is that Greedmonger, what is a Greedmonger? It is some guy who's like an evil troll, not a troll in the sense of, Tolkien or whatever. It's a troll and, a hermit. It's like an evil hermit who all he wants to do is take in this money and collect more items and not be a member of society, not do anything that's helpful to society. They just want to be greedy, and everything is about me, 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 is what they're saying. Not they're saying it's about.
That sounds
me.
like me.
So the problem is who wants to play that character? And when I think of the you want to play that character? So then you like the name? What is your issue with the name?
I don't like the name. It just it doesn't catch me in. Like if I'm going to look at a list of games and I say Greedmonger, I'm not going to take a second look at it. It's like something that doesn't pull me in. So if you're going to take things like Ultima Online, just say, for instance, they're going to name it Greed Online, that's something which actually pulls me into the game. It's like, oh, it's a multiplayer game. It could have to do with trading, like looting. Things that really interest me.
And what about Okay, so let's bring up some other game names here. Okay, so let's see. What have I got back here? I've got Ultima Online, of course. A lot of copies of it. I've got Star Wars Galaxies. Now, does Star Wars Galaxies, does that tell you what the game is?
Yes.
Okay. And Guild Wars. Does Guild Wars kind of indicate what the game is?
Yes.
Okay, and let's see here. I have Terra, I have Star Wars Old Republic, I have Star Trek Online, which is in a beautiful box, by the way. And if you guys haven't seen this, it's got my communicator badge. And you know what? I think that I've got my handy communicator here, and
Bridge, this is the captain.
oh, the captain's calling.
Enterprise to Captain Kirk.
Oh, now I'm Captain Kirk. What is going on here? This is really dumb. So, I think that would it be that the name Greedmonger does not accurately describe what we want the game to be? Or does it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So do you think that a game where everyone is greedy would be fun?
Yes.
Damn, this is such a hard conversation.
I've got to think of more to say. I do, because, I don't know, it's just a type of game I'd like to play where everyone's out to get the best, which is in most games. Everyone's out to be the best. So they're all actually greedy. They're not... there's some people that go out and help other people in MMOs, but in most of the time, everyone's greedy. Everyone wants the best loot. They want to be with the best guild. They want to be the best level.
Is this game about being a contest, though? Is that...
For me, it is.
Wow.
For me, I want to be the best.
Huh. Okay. I totally don't get that from this game. And so it's really funny, but we both don't like the name for different reasons. So maybe that really is an indication that they should change the damn name. Maybe we should have a contest or something to get people to, submit their ideas for a new name. And let me just look here. Am I going to even have? Let's see. Now you bought the big package. You have beta keys coming to you, don't you?
Yes, I got 16 and I don't want them.
You don't want them? So
I don't want them.
Would you be willing to put up one of those keys for if someone can submit to us a great name that we think the game should be renamed to?
I'll give the person who has the best name, I'll give them a key.
Yeah. So, okay, and Jesse's channel is Sly Jesse. And so maybe you should make a video about that. And I'll link to it in one of my other videos or whatnot. And send everybody over your way to give you the comments on the ideas of what... see, I'm not greedy. I'm not a monger. I'm actually sharing with you.
I am. You see how this works?
This is just crazy. But so one of those people, whoever, we'll take a look at that and decide which one is really good, and then we will. Then how about you and I talk to Jason Appleton and try and get him to use the new name? How does that sound?
That sounds good.
We'll gang up on him on Skype, and we'll get him on and we'll beat him up. He's a UFC promoter.
I do.
Yeah. So
he's really big.
Yeah, he'll call his buddies, and they will come and beat us up. So, okay, Jesse.
I'll be greedy and I'll rat you out. That's okay.
Oh God. I'll
run away.
Oh man. So, hey, Jesse, how did you like our last play that we did today in War Z? Was that not exciting or what?
That was a shoot. I get it, a gun reference. You're gonna have to actually watch it to actually get that at the end. It's really amazing. I really enjoyed it. It was so fun. I got a 10-minute first episode on my channel if you want to check it out. But Markee, I believe, is going to have all of it up way before me. So if you want to watch the full thing, check his one out. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, look at that, an advertisement back from my own channel. And, of course, it's Sly Jesse on YouTube, and so both him and I have been doing War Z content, and we've been linking back and forth. So just look for one of my, my latest War Z video, and you'll see a link to him, so if you can't find it. Okay, Jesse, thanks for the call.
Yep, have a good rest of the episode.
Yep, take care. Okay, so... that was fun. I have to tell you, it was amazing what we did today in the game. It was so much fun. So, okay, Houston, you're on the air.
There.
Hey, Houston, do you have video or are you just audio only?
I do this time.
You do this time.
Let's see. All right. Yes, I have been on the show before. The other Houston wasn't me, but I've been there. So
I saw that. I was looking at the comments and I saw somebody say, "Oh, yay, that's me." Oh, no, that's not me. I thought maybe that was you. So, anyway, Houston, tell us a little bit about yourself.
17, gamer, really interested, cars and computers, really. And my question to you is about the gaming community. And I'm sure I'll get so much hate for this because this is more of an elementary game, but RuneScape. Recently, they implemented a really controversial update about the combat system, which changed everything about the game. Mm-hmm. Now, the community didn't react well to this, and they never will because it's changed, but this time it was a bit more extreme than it ever has been. So I was wondering, do you believe that if a developer continuously updates the game with updates that anger or unrest the community, that the unrest and anger in the community does more damage than the update would benefit the game?
Well, I can tell you that dollars will speak. And, I know that Jagex does not listen to their community. We hear that time and time again. But I do know that they have investors and stuff, and they're in it to make money, and that's been the downfall of what I think is the root of all this strife with the game. But at that same time, that the dollars, their pocketbook, will speak to them very loudly. And so if this update is so horrible that people are leaving the game and not spending money anymore, they will directly see that in their stats. And I can tell you that I'm a fan of stats, and I keep stats on all kinds of stuff, whether it's my YouTube channel or whether it's my business or whatever. Like the current stat on my YouTube channel is I just hit in the last 30 days an incredible 1.5 million minutes viewed.
Wow, nice. I have like 400 minutes viewed. So
Yeah, it's really incredible, that number. And as long as that's going up, then I know that I'm doing a good job, that people are watching more and more. But if that starts to take a dive, then I know something is wrong. And
Right.
and so, like, I published a video this morning, or was it? No, it was yesterday. That was about War Z and about this guy I had on a previous live show, where he said that he thought that Daisy actually stole content from War Z, and the argument's always been the other way around. And I went ahead and posted it and kind of asked it as a question, whether or not people agree with this or think the same thing. And what happened is that I got, I think it's at over 100 thumbs down in
oh,
24
I noticed
hours.
on that video actually.
Yeah. And so, now, does that mean that the video doesn't have good content?
I don't think so. No.
Or whatnot? People are obviously watching it, and so it's getting view time. And if they really didn't like the subject, they would just go away if it was to where it had no value. But being that it's just a different opinion than what they have, or they feel like the kid was full of shit, with his opinion, which I kind of felt that maybe he was just trying to play the antagonist.
Right.
And so I look at that and I say, okay, thumbs down. I pay attention to that. That's a stat. But overall, people hate Howard Stern. He's such a self-gloating asshole. And I watched him on America's Got Talent, and I thought he was the worst judge you could ever add to that show, because he made the show all about him. It was his stage. That show's been going on for several years, and it's his first time on the show. And all of a sudden, it was his show. And, so when you get something that's so hated, but people still watch because they're watching a train wreck.
Right, it's still views. It just has an opinion side to it.
Mm-hmm. And that's still an upstat. It's still, if more people watched the show because he's on there and they hate him so much, it's still an upstat. But if they hate him so much that they quit watching, then it goes down. And so, they make their decisions, and they should be watching the stats, and there's a couple of things that they should be able to see in that. And one is of course the dollars. The investors are going to look primarily at dollars. That's going to be the number one stat that they look at. The number two stat is probably going to be the amount of time played per person. And so if that is falling, that's an indication that money is going to fall soon afterwards.
Right.
And but if people are playing even longer, but they're making less money, then it becomes kind of a conundrum, and they have to check into that further. But yeah, I think that, I know that all of you have so much invested with your game accounts and everything. What happens do you spend any money in the game?
Membership, but no, I don't participate in microtransactions.
Okay, and so your membership, what would happen to your account if you let your membership lapse for a month?
Let's see. Other than not gaining bonuses for having a continuous membership, which that's another story. But you don't lose too much, other than the fact that you're limited to one area for the month that you're not subscribed.
Mm-hmm. And so, would it be hard for people to speak with their dollars, to give up that membership for a month to prove a point to Jagex?
I would believe so. They don't lose any in-game items or any progress or anything like that. So just lapsing for a few months, they could do it. However, they're always. They'll come back, I believe.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The problem is that your friends play the game,
right?
And it's a real community, isn't it?
It definitely is. It's changed over the course of the years because I've been playing for a long time. Mm-hmm. But they say this update was for the longevity of the game. However, most of the community is veteran players. Mm-hmm. The game is built around high levels by this point, And I think with this new update, they're kind of pushing the older community away to bring a new, younger community into the game, which has created a lot of controversy.
That's what, like Mists of Pandaria, or whatever, for World of Warcraft, everybody was like, oh my god, Care Bear's coming into the game. It's to get new people, but what would be your suggestion on, if they're trying to get new players, and do you think it's because they're trying to get new players into the game that's what?
I think that's what their investors want. Honestly, I can definitely tell that they were pushed or influenced to update it so early. I've been playing it since the beta where they gave you a trial to, so they can work out the bugs, and they've had that going for 3 or 4 months. Now they surprised us about 2 weeks ago and said, hey, it's going to be in the live game before Christmas. Here we go. 2 weeks from now, it's the live game. There are a lot of game-breaking bugs in the game. Some things that if they don't fix quick, it's going to be a serious problem. And it's evident that there are so many unbalanced things in there that they had to be rushed to put it out so quickly.
So they're not quality conscious.
No, I think they pushed it out there to get new subscribers before Christmas. I honestly think that's what happened.
And so you think that having these features in may help attract new players?
Well, it's a browser-based game, which is outdated, I would believe, by today's standard. Everything is, a downloadable client, or you can go to this Walmart or something and pick up the disc. So what they've done is revamp the whole combat, so it's more like those disc-based games. It's more like World of Warcraft with an action bar and a cooldown and abilities like that. And I think they see the success of those bigger companies, and they're trying to catch on to a bit of that.
Yeah, so they're chasing the money, maybe.
Yes, I believe so.
And so, yeah, I guess I'm not sure what to suggest on this. That I think that since there is an issue of Jagex not listening to anybody, that the only thing that you can do is to actually speak with dollars.
Right.
But I think that that's going to be a hard thing to do with how many people are so tight-knit in the community of the game.
Right. See, I believe you spoke in another video a while ago, maybe a year ago or so, where you said when a game company develops a game and catches a close-knit type of player, to stick with that strong community and not vary and try to grab other people, because if you just keep your updates focused toward that center of player, you will keep that player base forever. Now, RuneScape was very unique in this way 5 or 6 years ago, where it was a browser-based game. You played while you were on Facebook or doing homework or listening to music. It wasn't so focus-intensive, but it could be if you wanted it to be. And that was a very unique player base, because you could play your other games and play this game at the same time and still be making progress. And after an hour of watching a movie, you could check back up on the game and be like, oh, well, look at this, I've made progress, this is interesting. Now the game has turned into a grind. I mean, it's a focus 100% of the time, and that's fine if that's what your player base is. But RuneScape player base really never was that, and with this update, they've trashed the old player base in search of a new one, I believe.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate. It's the way it works. I can tell you that. In fact, let me grab something off of my shelf up here, because this has happened before. This is history repeating itself. Hold on.
Oh. I was worried you were reaching for Guild Wars for a minute. That's one of my other favorite MMOs.
This is Ultima Ascension. It's Ultima 9. And, in fact, I wonder what's in the box here. Ooh, look at that. Oh, how cool is that? I didn't even know this was in the box. Holy cow. Look at this leather-bound book.
Wow.
Codex, a second leather-bound book. Wow, these are really spiffy. Oh, look at this. Shit, I haven't opened this up in years. Look at these tarot cards.
Wow, Ultima 9 unboxing on live stream.
Yeah, yeah. And let's see here. Okay, there's more stuff in here. This was the big collector's edition, and this is what I'm noticing. I should frame this and put that up. I mean, that's beautiful. Wow, I even have my original receipt in here. I paid $50 for this. So, okay, this game, beautiful game. Loved playing it. It was a advancement in so many ways. They were pushed to release it early, to release it before it was completely done. And what happened was, and this is big business, and what happened was is that there was a bug in the game that they made a patch for later. And this patch, though, the bug in the game was that there was a certain character that you needed to finish a quest from them, and it was about halfway through the game. In order to complete the game, you had to do this quest from this person. They gave you an item or something like that. And the problem was, nobody could complete the quest.
Ooh.
And it was a bug in the game. And so what they did is that this bug in the game was apparently at the core of the game. And so to fix it,
Lot of programming.
well, to fix it required that your save games no longer worked.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so it wasn't like you could just patch it and then continue playing on. It was the fact that you had to start the game over again.
Wow.
And you'd already played half of it, and this is a single-player game. And that is kind of an example of rushing something out to the detriment of customers. So and it happens time and time again, and the EA people would tell you that corporate demanded that it be done by a certain date, and when they get near crunch time, you know, all of the staff is working 12, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, programmers and stuff. It's like in the last month you don't see your family. And
Yikes, yeah.
and in fact, there was even stuff that made the news and everything about EA widows.
Oh gosh.
And that's what they called them, because they were the you know, spouse and family and stuff of different you know, people who worked there that were no longer able to not seeing their family.
Right.
So anyway. I know that's probably much more than you intended on for
no,
this.
it's great. It's great. I feel like your opinion is super valuable on a range of things.
Yes, well, thank you for your call, Houston, and good luck with Jagex. I think you're going to have to coordinate with people to get dollars to speak, and that there's just no other way to do it. Not unless somebody knows an investor and can go talk to them.
Right.
So show them the light.
Well, thank you for your time, Marcus.
Okay, take care. Okay, so that's cool. You know, a lot of RuneScape, you know, this whole patch and everything that they've done with this new combat system had a lot of people up in arms, and I hadn't heard about it before this show, but obviously a lot of people are speaking about it, and it's a issue. So, okay, I think that that is going to be the show for tonight. I see that something has happened, and I had a 2-hour window set for the broadcast, and once we hit 2 hours, almost every viewer dropped off. Don't know why. It's kind of weird. Right at that specific time, right at exactly 2 hours. So next time I will extend it out even further so that we can not run into that issue. The show will just end earlier than the scheduled time. And so if you came back or whatnot, you know, welcome back. But really there's only a few of you in here. And so we will do that for next time. And And if you're watching this, if you've watched it this far, you've actually, come this far, we will take the best of these, the different segments and rebroadcast them, put them up as their own videos. And so if you see a best of or whatnot, I suppose that you can skip those if you've been watching the entire shows. And this show will be available fully rendered in an hour or two up on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. I hope to do this again next Friday night. We shall see. I'm still working out, kind of the schedule on all of this, what works well for everybody. And I appreciate all your calls. For those of you who I missed your call, I apologize. Try and hit me up next time with your question. I'm Markee Dragon. Take care.
If you made it this far in the video, you may as well subscribe. That's what I want you to do. You obviously liked it well enough to watch it this far. So look at this. This is Frostmourne. This is a Runes of Magic sword. This Runes of Magic sword is one that we're giving away as second prize to one of you subscribers just for being subscribed. That's all you have to do. Subscribe and accept our messages or watch our videos where we draw for prizes. So this one is it's a really nice sword. It's signed by some of the American staff for Runes of Magic. And then there's the big boy here. I got it on my shoulder because it's so darn heavy. The sucker is 16 pounds. Look at this. So it's a two-handed sword here, man. This is a beautiful sword. And we're giving this away when we hit 42,500 subscribers. It could be you. So, just subscribe, that's all you have to do. We'll do videos selecting the winners, and we'll send you a message in YouTube as long as you accept it. Just make sure you accept messages from us. To do that, put us on your contact list. And you just add Markee Dragon to your contact list, and then you'll be able to get messages from us, and you'll have 30 days to get back to us when we send you a message. Or, if we can't message you, you'll just be on video, and you just gotta watch the video and then contact us. So anyway, if you made it this far, you really should subscribe, and I would appreciate it. So anyway, that's all.